There are a few seats up front. There are 4 chairs here at these tables. We're not going to be using those,
This
so feel free to
webinar
pull
is
those
being
back.
recorded and summarized. Before we get started in just a minute, I think most of you have been told by Mr. Bullard there is a QR code that you need to scan. If you haven't done that, they're laying on the back tables. Please take your phone and scan that QR code. We need more chairs. We got. Okay. All right, at this time, I'd like to call the meeting of the North Carolina Private Protective Services Board to order. I'd like to welcome all of you. We have a full house today. I assume most of you are here to attend the training this afternoon, which is great. We appreciate you doing that and being here and being a part of it. So welcome to the meeting. The meetings that we had yesterday, they are closed to the public. The meetings that we had today, which are law and rules and training and standards for those of you here, are open to the public, as is the full board meeting. So at this time, I would ask that everyone stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Gray, if you would give us state ethics law, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with the State Ethics Act, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest or appearance of conflict. Any board member has any known conflict or appearance of conflict with regard to any matter coming before this board meeting today, please so state the conflict or appearance of conflict and refrain from any deliberation and vote in that particular matter.
Thank you. Everyone should have received a copy of the January minutes. Do we have any changes, discussion, any issues with the minutes? Motion to approve. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Final agency decisions, Mr. Gray.
None today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And we'll move into committee reports. So Grievance Committee, Judge Burris.
Our first case was 2025 PPS 83, Bruce Siebert, Defender Services. The recommendation is to find a violation of 74C 11, enter into a consent agreement with Bradley Agnew and Defender Services, Inc. Would note that Bradley Agnew is the new QA in the amount of $7,448 for 20 unarmed security guard registration violations. The board staff is to conduct a follow-up registration compliance audit for the fourth quarter of 2026 and the first quarter of 2027. And Mr. Agnew is to attend the registration procedures training either today or following the September board meeting. 2025 PPS 96, Jamarian Pegues, Blindside Protection Agency. The recommendation is to find a violation of 74C 11, enter into a consent agreement with Mr. Pegues and Blindside Protection Agency in the amount of $5,385.60 for 44 unarmed security guard registration violations. This amount in the consent agreement may be paid in 3 installments. The staff is to conduct a follow-up registration compliance audit for the fourth quarter of 26 and the first quarter of 27. Mr. Pegues is to attend the registration procedures training following today's meeting or after the September 26th board meeting. In the third case, I'm first going to defer to the chair.
In this case, the individual and the company involved in the case has sought legal counsel, and legal counsel has requested that we not vote on this case today. The problem with that is we have never deferred a case back to grievance to hear it again. The merits of the case cannot be discussed in this open meeting because that would taint the rest of the board members should an OHA decision come down. At a final agency hearing pending OAH, those serving on the grievance committee who were involved in the voting yesterday would not be allowed to vote again. So it would be up to the rest of the board members to make a decision regarding that particular case. Our normal avenue of appeal is through OAH. And so that is what we're going to do unless I hear something other from the board. All right, go ahead.
That was,
Pardon me?
that was my request, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to be here to represent Ms. Weiss at American Security Associates, Incorporated, but unfortunately, she's not able to be here. She cracked the rib yesterday morning on the way to the disciplinary committee meeting yesterday, but, I understand the procedures and, I respect, the board's, decision going forward in regards to not, sending it back to this committee, but, I just wanted to make that request and have my client for the West Virginia like yesterday.
I understand, and I appreciate you speaking up, sir. That's the normal procedure, and that's what we need to go with. Thank you. Go ahead.
In that case, 25 PPS 99, Michelle Size, American Security Associates. In that case, it's a recommendation to find a violation of 74C11 for unarmed guard violations and revoke Michelle Size security guard and patrol license. In 2025 PPS 100, the Downtown Raleigh Alliance, the recommendation is to find no violation. In 2025 PPS 103, Robert Anthony Santiago, that case is deferred until the May grievance committee meeting. Would note that's the second continuance, and we've decided not to continue it again. Number 6, 2025 PPS 104, Gabriel McCullough, sua sponte security. In this case, recommendation to find a violation of 74C11 and 74C13. Enter into a consent agreement with Mr. McCullough and sua sponte security in the amount of $1,361.24, which includes a 20% self-report discount for 13 unarmed security guard registration violations and 6 armed security guard registration violations. The staff is to conduct a follow-up registration compliance audit for the fourth quarter of 26 and the first quarter of 27. Mr. McCullough is to attend the registration procedures training following today's meeting or the September 26th board meeting. 2025 PPS 107, Deshaun McNeil. The recommendation to find a violation of 74C2 and 74C13A. Continue the cease and desist order previously issued to Mr. McNeil. Refer the matter to screening should Mr. McNeil apply for a license or registration. 2025 PPS 108, Samuel Langford. Recommendations to find a violation of 74C2. Continue the cease and desist previously issued to Mr. Langford and Greenway Services, Inc. The staff is to notify Bladen County officials of this finding. I would note that this involves the providing of security services at waste disposal sites in Bladen County, where they are referred to as attendants. Number 25 PPS 109, Marvin Blue Trident Training Team. Find a violation of 74C 10E. A non-disciplinary warning is issued to Mr. Blue not to commit a subsequent violation. And we note this involved a temporary lapse in insurance coverage. 2025 PPS 110, Scott Ciano, Allied Security Services. The recommendation to find a violation of 74C11. Enter into a consent agreement with Mr. Ciano and Allied Security Services, Allied Universal Security Services, in the amount of $1,612 for 5 unarmed security guard registration violations. No follow-up registration audit is recommended. Number 11 is a similar case with number 15. The first one, 2025 PPS 111, William Torres Ram Security out of New Jersey. The recommendation is to find a violation of 74C2, continue the cease and desist order previously issued to Mr. Torres and Ram Security, refer the matter to the screening committee should Mr. Torres apply for a license or registration, and staff is to notify the Love's Travel Stop corporate office and the Charlotte location of this finding. And number 15, 2025 PPS 119, Joaquim Malik Filsame, Supreme Intelligence and Investigation out of Colorado. The recommendation is to find a violation of 74C2, continue the cease and desist order previously issued to Mr. Filsame and Supreme Intelligence of Investigation. Refer the matter to the screening committee should Mr. Filsame apply for a license or registration, and the staff is to notify Love's Travel Stop corporate office and the Charlotte location. In those two cases, as you can see, it involved unlicensed activity at the same truck stop in Charlotte, and they were using online security sites to hire security officers. 2025 PPS 113, Donald Stephen Ricky, Paladin Security. The recommendation is to find a violation of 74C 12A22, suspend Mr. Ricky's security guard and patrol license, but suspend the suspension of the license for 30 days to allow Mr. Ricky to correct the company name violation. 2025 PPS 117, Steve Allen Gibson, Veteran Security Services. Find a violation of 74C11, enter into a consent agreement with Mr. Gibson and Veteran Security Services in the amount of $122.40 for 1 unarmed security guard registration violation, and no follow-up audit is recommended. I would note this was a follow-up audit from a previous case, and as you can tell, there was only 1 technical violation, so kudos to Mr. Gibson for correcting the problem. 2025 PPS 118, Joseph Brandt Phillips, Professional Security and Investigations. In this one, this was a follow-up audit for a previous violation. And in this case, there was a 100% compliance, which we always love to see. So kudos to Mr. Phillips. 16 and 17, the outside numbers, are companion cases. Michael Vaughn, Sue Sponte Security, and 2025 PPS 121, Gabrielle McCullough, Sue Sponte Security. In each of those cases, the recommendation is to find a violation of 74C 12A1, And Administrative Rule 16.0707 with regards to Mr. Vaughn, and 74C 13A, Administrative Rule 160807 with respect to Mr. Culler. In each, a non-disciplinary warning is issued to each respondent not to commit a subsequent violation. And I would say that these involved submission of a training certificate that had an error in it. And then 18 and 19 are also companion cases. In number 19, we continued that case until the July grievance committee meeting. In number 18, we heard that case, 2025 PPS 126, Scott Lowell, AJ Squared Security. Find a violation of 74C 12A1 and issue a disciplinary letter of reprimand to Mr. Lowell. This involved Mr. Lowell's allowing employees to use his Permidium credentials for access. He typically is out of state, but he now has in place a North Carolina QA. And 2025 PPS 128, Alfred Blue Flowers, that matter was deferred until Mr. Flowers' criminal charges are resolved. And those are our cases.
Okay. Any recusals?
I have one.
Okay.
Number 4, downtown Raleigh.
Any other? All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the report on all the cases with the exception of number 4.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. All right, we'll vote on number 4 now with Mr. Renfro recusing himself. I'll entertain a motion to accept the report on case number 4. Motion, second?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The grievance report passes. Screening report, Mr. Buff.
Yes, sir. The screening report, or screening committee met yesterday at 2:00, and the following are our recommendations. Michael Anderson, close personal protection approval. Juan Arape, private investigator associate, level 1, 0 hours, approved. Brandon Bailey, private investigator associate, level 2, 1,400 hours, approved. Timothy Barclaw, Jr., close personal protection, approved. George Beasley, security guard and patrol, approved. Paulette Anderson, security guard and patrol, approved. Kelly Bivens, private investigator, denied for lack of verifiable experience and failure to complete the application process. The same thing for Kelly Bivens for security guard and patrol. Aaron Butino, security guard and patrol, approved with condition of basically they're under a 30-day QA extension. So Christopher Dale Cahoon, proprietary, approved. Irina Certain, close personal protection, approved. Anthony Espinoza III, security guard and patrol, approved. Emily Ivanchos, private investigator, approved. Brandon Evans, proprietary, approved. Timothy Finn, security guard and patrol, approved. Luke Ford, close personal protection, approved. Gregory Foreman, courier service, approved. Justin Gallagher, private investigator, associate, level 1, 800 hours, approved. Charles Glover, private investigator, approved. Brian Goodman, private investigator, approved. Mark Goodwin, proprietary, approved. Oliver Green, private investigator, denied for falsification of an application. Oliver Green, digital forensics, also denied for falsification of application. Kenneth Hart, private investigator, approved. Brandon Hazelgrove, private investigator, associate, level 1, 0 hours, approved. Libby Huss, private investigator, associate, level 2, 1,000 hours, approved. Christine Idle, security guard and patrol, approved. Gregory Ingram, close personal protection, approved. Stephen Jackson, security guard and patrol, approved. Misha Jackson, courier service, denied for failure to complete the application process. Anthony Jordan, private investigator, approved. Benjamin Noss, digital forensics examiner, approved, under the condition of a favorable fingerprint card result for criminal history check. Kelly Cummings, private investigator, approved. Paul Latour, close personal protection, approved. Paul Latour, armored car, approved. And Paul Latour, courier service, approved. Eddie Lemons, close personal protection, approved. Brian Limper, private investigator, approved. James Locklear, proprietary, approved. Lacey Liu, private investigator, associate, level 1, 0 hours, approved. Russell Lupton Jr., close personal protection, approved. Andrew MacArthur, proprietary, approved. James McClenathan Jr., close personal protection, approved. Des McIntosh, proprietary, approved. Blake Miller, close personal protection, approved. Joshua Moore, security guard and patrol, approved. Dustin Patton, close personal protection, approved. Douglas Peters, private investigator, approved. George Porter, security guard and patrol, denied for lack of verifiable experience. Layla Porter, security guard and patrol, approved with condition of a receipt of favorable fingerprint cards for records check. Alexandra Ann Prue, private investigator associate, approved, once that she submits satisfactory credit plan to the investigator. This will be a level 1 with 0 hours. Christian Rabinall, security guard and patrol, approved. Jason Rhodes, close personal protection, approved. Zachary Rice, private investigator, approved. Nicholas Richards, close personal protection, approved. Nicholas Richards, private investigator, associate, level 2 with 1,200 hours, approved. Gavin Rogers, private investigator, associate, level 1, 0 hours, approved. Angel Roland, security guard and patrol, approved. Jeremy Sanchez, private investigator, associate, approved, under the condition of a satisfactory credit plan provided to the investigator for a level 1 with 0 hours. Ramin Solare, security guard and patrol, approved. Graham Schultz, private investigator, associate, denied for failure to complete the application process. John Spasak, private investigator, approved. Persephone Stewart, private investigator, approved. David Thompson IV, private investigator, associate, level 1, 0 hours, approved. Sonia Timms, security guard and patrol, approved. Troy Treadall, security guard and patrol, approved with condition of favorable fingerprint cards returned for criminal records check. Kara Tyree, security guard and patrol, denied for lack of verifiable experience. Orestes Valoria, close personal protection, approved. Jonathan Waters, private investigator, denied for failure to complete the application process. Jonathan Waters, security guard and patrol, denied for failure to complete the application process. Leslie Watts, private investigator, associate, level 1, 0 hours, approved. Chelsea Willis Scavato, private investigator, approved. Shamira Woodley, security guard and patrol, approved. Jonathan Wright, close personal protection, approved. Jonathan Wright, private investigator, associate, level 1, 0 hours, approved. We also had one on the addendum. This was for a QA for 2 companies, Terry Wasser, and that was an approval. That is the end of my report.
Thank you. And the chair of the committee, Deborah Duncan, was unable to be here yesterday and today. So, Mr. Buff, thank you for filling in and taking charge, because she missed out on a great opportunity for 76 cases.
Yes, she did.
And you read it at twice the speed that she does. I mean,
That's what we like.
where I could actually understand it. So, all right. Do I have any recusals?
Yes, Kelly Bivens.
Which one?
7 and 8.
7 and 8.
Kelly Bivens.
Any others? All right, I'll have a motion to accept the screening committee's report with the exception of 7 and 8.
Motion.
Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. In the cases 7 and 8, do I have a motion to accept those two? With the recusal of Mr. Ratcliffe? Have a motion, second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. All right, screening report is accepted. Thank you. Education training, Ms. Ratcliffe.
Okay. So we have continued interest in our training programs and they are healthy and doing well. So far for our upcoming unarmed guard trainer workshops for the rest of the year, we have one scheduled for May 11th through May 15th, July 13th through the 17th, September 14th through the 18th, and November 16th through the 20th. For our firearms trainer recertification and pre-qual, our upcoming dates are April 14th, April 15th, September 23rd, October 7th, and October 28th. And for the October 28th date, that is recert for both handgun and long gun. For our new firearms trainer course and workshop, which is going to be 4 days, we have May 5th through the 8th, October 20th through the 23rd. And for our long gun trainer course, that is 3 days, we have April 7th through the 9th. For completed training, for the unarmed trainer workshop, I'm happy to report that course was completed February 16th through the 20th, and we have 17 new trainers. For our completed firearms training, that happened on March 4th for both handgun and long gun. And we had 18 trainers, long gun, and 5 research. As far as our firearm trainer audits, we had one completed on Robert McCrory on February 5th at the Eagle Eye Security Center in Raleigh. Happy to report that all his training records and targets were accounted for and no violations were observed. As far as weapon discharges, we had a couple to report. The first one being Timothy Patillo for professional security and investigation. The date of the incident was January 8th at 6 a.m. At Paperworks. Just to summarize, on the 8th of January at 6, Patillo was working armed security for professional security and investigation, PSI, at Paperworks in Winsett, North Carolina. A Paperworks employee approached Patillo and told him that she believed someone may have been tampering with her vehicle. Basically, when he went to approach the vehicle, he noticed another female armed with a knife trying to cut the tires. Upon being approached, the female suspect entered her red SUV. When Patillo approached her, while she was in her vehicle, the female suspect drove away and dragged the officer for about 10 to 12 feet. The suspect injured the guard by running over his leg. Upon being dragged, he noticed a firearm in her driver's seat. He let go, and the suspect circled the parking lot back in Patillo's direction. He fired 7 to 8 shots into the suspect's vehicle to stop her. The suspect drove away unidentified. Patillo was transported to the hospital for treatment. The Guilford County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene and charged Patillo with discharging a firearm into an occupied dwelling. Patillo has been placed on administrative leave pending the disposition of his case. Additionally, PSI has informed the Protective Services Board that they have terminated their contract with Paperworks as a result of this incident. The next weapons discharge involves David Pine with Allied Universal. This occurred on March 6th at 5:50 a.m. at the Anson Correctional Institution. On March 1st, 2026 at 5:50 a.m. Prine was working armed security for Allied Universal at Anson Correctional Institution in Polkton. During shift change, Prine attempted to unload his weapon at a cleaning barrel and accidentally discharged it. No property damage or injuries were reported. Allied has placed Prine on administrative suspension and required him to complete a remedial firearms training as a result of this incident. The next weapons discharge is Dominic Threat with PNG Security. The date of this incident is March 7th at 12:37 p.m. The location is Food Lion in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I just want to report that all of these incidents, all of these guards were active and current with their arm registrations. So on March 7th at 12:37 p.m., Dominic Threat was working armed security for PNG Security at Food Line located off of Batesford Road. During his shift, a male approached the exit door to leave the store carrying a bag in his hand. Threat requested the customer stop and show him the receipt. The customer told Threat items contained in the bag were ones that he had brought in the store with him. Threat allowed the customer to leave with no further inquiry. Moments later, the manager advised Threat that he had checked the surveillance cameras and determined that the customer had shoplifted the items in the bag. Threat exited the store and drove the area to locate and detain the suspect for shoplifting. Threat called 911 and remained on the phone with them while trying to locate the suspect. Threat observed the suspect walking toward a bus stop. The suspect dropped the bag and started running away. Threat assumed at the time that the suspect had fled and did not expect him to return. Threat exited his vehicle to retrieve the bag of stolen items. As Threat was retrieving the bag, the suspect returned, grabbed Threat from behind and began stabbing him with a knife. Threat unholstered his duty weapon and fired approximately 7 shots toward the suspect. The suspect fled the scene toward a nearby house. CMP responded to the scene to investigate the incident. Threat's firearm was seized. Threat was transported to a nearby hospital and treated for his injuries. The suspect's identity has not been determined. PNG has placed Threat on administrative leave at this time. Just to touch on our courses, our training class, the 16-hour training class, the slides have been updated to include the human trafficking and counterterrorism components. So those slides are updated and the training materials are updated on the website. So those are available for you to use. And the training forms on the PPSB website will be, they are in PDF version already, and they are on the website for you to use as well. As far as the courses that we approved, all the courses, we have quite a few renewal courses that we have. No, I'm sorry. Okay, and we had quite a few renewal courses that we approved within our committee meeting as well. And all the courses presented were approved with the exception of number 13 for Mr. Leroy Lassinger, use of force during mental health crisis transports. And so that's my report for training.
All right. Andy, anything on the continuing education committee?
Not at this time.
Okay. Any questions of either Ms. Ratcliffe or Mr. Renfro? Entertain a motion to accept the report of the Training and Education Committee.
Motion.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Law and Rules Committee met this morning at 9:30 in this room. Mr. Gray gave us an update on the current rules that are in the queue, I guess. They will be going before rules review at the end of the month. Rules review normally meets somewhere around the 25th to 28th of every month, usually on a Thursday. So he gave us an update on that. Nothing to report really on those issues. We had several discussions this morning. One is we asked staff to look into a new registration card that may have a holograph image on it to give us some information on that, bring that back. That may require a rule change, probably not, unless we want to put that language in there. We had a situation of a counterfeit card appear in one of our cases in grievance, so we want to look at maybe upgrading the cards to some extent. The second thing dealing with the cards is
We are going to modify the card and put information on the card so that the registrant understands that the card is assigned to a company. We have individuals coming in from other states where they are registered in that state, and the card belongs to them and not the company, and they can leave one company, go to another one with that card. That doesn't work that way here. They have to be registered by the company. So in order to try to solve the problems, we're going to put that information on the card so that that individual understands that if they try to work at a different place, they can't use. One of the situations we had was as an armed security guard, registered through a company, was moonlighting at another facility. That's unlicensed activity by the facility, and the individual is not licensed to work for them anyway. We want to make sure that everybody stays on board with what they're required to do. We had a request to look into requiring background checks on transfers to other companies because of individuals who may leave one company, and in the course of that 1 year before information is gathered by staff, they could have committed a felony or several felonies, and the hiring agency may not know anything about it. No background check has been done. So we're looking into a rule change that may implement that as well. And the only other thing that came up was, well, two things. One, we had an incident where individuals, unarmed guards, were carrying basically weapons made by a company called Umerax that makes weapons that look identical to, say, a Glock 17 or 19 or Smith & Wesson M&P. They come in various colors, but these were all black. They look like real weapons, but they fire either a plastic ball filled with an irritant, like pepper balls, but they can also fire these 43 caliber aluminum rounds. And we were concerned as to whether that gives a false sense of security. It's making unarmed guards look like they're armed. Maybe we need to look into regulating that in some matter, which may be something as simple as saying, okay, the weapon has to be orange in color, or it can't be look like a real weapon when you're not an armed security guard and appear to be posing as one. The only other thing we ran into was a situation where virtual classrooms, where the classroom has got 35 people in it. In reality, there were only 3, but yet certificates were issued for all of these people. The class was not done as it should be, hours wise. So we need to start looking at the instructors a little closer, and maybe even look into reducing the class size of the virtual training from, say, 35 people in the class to 20, 25, where they can be on the screen. The instructor can see who's there and see everybody, not just portion of a class or having to scroll. So we're going to talk about those. No decision has been made on any of these. We're gathering information from staff and move forward with that. David, Special Committee on Polygraph, you would like to?
Okay, Special Committee on Polygraph Licensing met on the 21st of February. We worked on a memorandum of agreement between the board and the North Carolina Polygraph Association to lay out who does what, who's responsible for what for the licensing process. That was rough draft was submitted to staff and legal counsel, and hopefully we'll have something finalized by May.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of myself or Mr. Possum?
We also floated the idea of like proactive audits too for the unarmed instructor, but proactive audits for the unarmed instructors too.
Yes, we looked at trying to do some proactive audits and looking at ways to do that for some of these unarmed guard training. We have that availability with the firearms because you're required to submit 5 days prior to running a class that you're doing the class. So Ms. Battle can drop in and check on classes and things like that. So we're trying to look at ways that we might can audit, peek at, look into, just make sure these classes are being done as they are required to do by the statute and the rules. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to accept the Law and Rules Committee report. Don't move. A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those likewise.
We do not have a finance committee report. Mr. McRae was not available. Is that correct? All right, thank you. Emerging technology, Ms. Creech?
The committee did not meet, but I have been doing research into AI, which is something that we all need to be looking at. There isn't anything that I can specifically tell you to look at because I cannot encourage you from one side or the other. You just have to figure out which one best suits the business and the needs for your business. But AI is not the end all be all. It's not without flaw. So make sure you trust but verify. But like I said, the committee did not meet on that, but AI is probably the biggest thing that I can report on right now. Just stay abreast of it. It's very time saving, especially if you're doing, criminal investigations. Being able to download a file to AI and have it summarized within a few minutes, it saves tons of times. I highly recommend it. But there's so many different programs out there right now. Just stay abreast of it, what the best needs for your company.
Okay, yeah. And before we do a motion on that one, I'm gonna go ahead and let you do the unlicensed activity and we'll vote on both of those.
Okay. I don't have anything special for the unlicensed activity, but I can assure you that staff's staying on top of this. They're doing audits regularly. And they're out and about. During our grievance committee, we had several unlicensed activities reported, so staff is doing a great job with that. If you see something, say something, feel free to contact me or staff. If you see anybody doing unlicensed activity, and that's security guard or private investigations. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions, Ms. Creech, regarding either emerging technology or the special committee on unlicensed activity? I'll entertain a motion to accept the report of both committees.
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed likewise. And last but not least, the Alarms Board and Property Services Board Joint Special Committee, Ms. Ratcliffe.
I don't have anything at the moment, but I plan for us to meet in April. So I'm gearing up for that. I got a couple of things that I want to bring up.
Okay. Any questions? Motion to accept the report? So, Ms. Ratcliffe, got a motion, second?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Old business. Anyone, staff?
All right, sir.
Okay. New business. This is great. Thank you. Director's report. Sherwin? Sir.
Director's report. As usual, I'll start with a personnel update. I'm very pleased to announce that we're fully staffed at PPS, so all 22 employees are on board. Our newest addition, Brianna Sarno, is sitting over here. Brianna has been working with us as a temporary employee since June of 25, and she came on board full-time as a permanent employee.
Great,
March 2nd.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome, Brianna. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
It's a good thing we're fully staffed because registration applications, licenses, everything continue to be a high volume. Your numbers here year to date for 2026, you can see just over 5,000 registration applications, which is a little less than the same period in 25, but significantly more than the previous 6 years listed there. Licensing side is also seeing pretty high numbers with 225 license applications received this year. Great job, Garcia and Mercedes. And investigations, as you can see from the grievance committee report, continues, and screening for that matter, is staying busy with background investigations on new applicants with 154 so far this year.
Nearly double last year.
Yes, it's a lot. And complaint investigations 31 so far this year, which is also more than double the same period of 2025. Investigator Karen Battle over in training unit, 86 trainer related applications this year. We like to see those numbers continue to increase as we need more trainers out there. And I do have a note here in accordance with this board's memorandum of understanding with the Department of Public Safety. We did transfer $37,500 to DPS in January. The Security Systems Licensing Board pays the other portion of that for a total of $50,000 that we pay DPS for the administrative support, IT support, financial services, et cetera. So that does just come out once a year, but I wanted to make you aware of that. And another thing I'd like to note is Deputy Director Bullard in November and December, he went to Edneyville and Salemburg where he basically conducted a train the trainer course for the law enforcement instructors who are teaching the board's mandatory law enforcement in-service class titled Understanding the Roles and Authority of Private Protective Services. So this 2-hour course will be delivered to every single law enforcement officer in the state of North Carolina this year. Teaches them all about registration requirements, licensing requirements for PIs, close person protection. When we ran this class in 2020, it was not mandatory, but a lot of people took it, and we did see a significant increase in reports and collaboration with law enforcement throughout the state. So I expect this year, with it being mandatory and we're putting it in front of everyone, that we'll see an even better return on investment. Deputy Director Bullard was also asked to go teach the same course to the Nash and Edgecombe County Sheriff's offices, which he did. So thank you, Ray, for that.
Yep, thank you.
A look at your licensing, registration, and certification summary. We currently have 25,884 credentials. That's down 15% from your January board meeting. Most of that being a reduction in your registration numbers. I expect those will pick back up. We typically see a dip this time of year, but that breaks down to 22,000 registrants, 2,832 license holders, and 620 trainers. Your financial report for the year, which your fiscal year begins July 1 of 2025. Your numbers here are through January 31st of 26. You've seen a fund balance increase of almost $98,000, bringing your fund balance to 2.1 million. That savings account essentially equates to 13 months of average operating expenses for the board. And in your education fund, that fund has seen an increase of $9,200 so far this year. Its fund balance is $148,000 with no expenditures. That's the fund that we use to pay for training and education grants. And the following pages are graphical representations of those financial numbers. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Motion to approve director report.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Mr. Gray, attorney's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I direct board members to my attorney's report, which was sent to you electronically last week. As always, under Roman numeral 1 on the first page is the status of your consent agreements from your last board meeting. Pleased to advise that all have been paid in full except one, and it is item number 1 under Roman numeral 1 regarding Mr. Hector Fallu and Fallu's security. Mr. Fallu had appealed that the assessment of that civil penalty as well as the suspension of his license to the Office of Administrative Hearings. The final agency decision was handed down. The board considered it at its last meeting. He has not paid that. The way the particular finding from the grievance committee was worded, got a civil penalty, license was suspended. If he applies again, he's going to have to pay that civil penalty to reinstate his license. So this may be on here for a while. We've had some contact from him that he is interested in reinstating his license, but we have not heard anything yet, nor have we received a check. So it may be a while. So this may appear for a while on your report. Then the next item, of course, the last item where it has not been paid is number 14. Again, similar to Mr. Fallu. The individual here and the company have also appealed their case to the Office of Administrative Hearings. So it's just on hold for a while. So except for those two unique situations, all other have been paid in full. As your under your administrative rules, as Mr. Johnson mentioned in his report from the committee, the rules that were adopted in order to bring into effect those items in your bill, which the legislation that became effective last October, mainly dealing with expunged criminal convictions. That was the majority of the changes throughout, although there are a few more. Those will be heard by the Rules Review Commission next Thursday, March 26th. They will be effective April 1. For those of y'all that are here for the training, there will be a session on both the new bill that was effective October 1 as well as these administrative rules this afternoon. If you're interested in those changes. But many of them had to do with expunged criminal records, but there were some other substantive changes. And I will also mention about the new monitoring license. If you have a security guard or patrol company that monitors cameras, there is a new license category for that under the sister board to this board, the Security Systems Licensing Board. So you may want to stick around and hear about that. Under litigation, it has been an interesting few months in here. Overall, we are having a problem with the U.S. mail in having things returned to us, including one attempt to send a civil summons and complaint to a sheriff's office to have them serve it. It took over 40 days for the post office to deliver it. We are now tracking mail and sending stuff by certified mail, so we have some record of it. That is more expensive for the board. It's less expensive than FedEx, but I got desperate enough to send one thing by FedEx last month. This is a systemic problem. I'm hearing it from everybody. It is interesting. Even Mr. Fallu that I mentioned a few minutes ago, I sent him a document. Mr. Fallu's been licensed by the board for years. His address has been exactly the same. It came back, addressee unknown. I contacted Mr. Fallu and he said, no, I haven't moved. That is my corporate address. And I have sent, I won't say a dozen, but I've sent probably a half a dozen items to him. Just all of a sudden the post office decided to mark it with their yellow sticker and send it back. This is not just the board, it is with all my clients. I represent the Moravian Church in North Carolina, Moravian Church in the Southern Province. Their headquarters have been at Old Salem since 1832. 1832 in the same building, and the post office could not find them. I know it's tough. It was tough. Post office sent back a letter to the Moravian Church, addressee unknown, unable to locate. And so it is driving me absolutely nuts. So we've had a lot of delays in this because of the mail. Good news is in first matter, which was an unlicensed case from Eastern North Carolina, Pitt County, Wayne County area, Kiwan Shackelford, Big Dog Security, had a little trouble getting this individual served. They forgot to look for him in the jail, because he had been arrested on another charge, Miss Battle was kind enough to go down and serve him at his court appearance. But we were having trouble getting him served. But we did get him served thanks to Miss Battle. So she did get him served. Another matter that we had was pending litigation, of course, was the Oakview Group. This had to do with the security at the Greensboro Coliseum, as well as at some other facilities that were once managed by the city itself, or they transferred their security over to a private entity and did not realize they needed to be licensed. We did seek injunctive relief against them, but at the last meeting in January, you all asked me to dismiss that matter since they came in and were licensed by the board. So I have dismissed that. The next matter, which is number C under Roman numeral 4, is Clifton Tenon, Catherine Malinowski, and United Risk and Safety Consulting. Mr. Tennant had been licensed by this board before. He had a consent agreement of $19,500 for unregistered guards. He failed to pay it, and he, of course, was not allowed to renew his license. His license renewal was denied by the board. It appears where we found out that he just created another company and kept on trucking. And the board asked me to seek injunction against him. He ducked us for a good number of months, like the sheriff's department, two sheriff's departments. We had another address at his mother's house. So we went through two sheriff's departments, finally gave up, hired a private process server, and got him served last week on March 9th, finally. We did get the co-defendants served and defaulted. Neither one of them answered. This was kind of a fun case because an attorney contacted me and said, it's not what I thought it was. They have never done any type of security. Can't we settle this? I said, sure. I said, but you might want to look at my evidence. If he wants to say he wasn't in the security business, all the contracts and the apartment complex that have been paying him might want to know that and may want to talk with the magistrate. And poof, the attorney disappeared. But it is what it is. So that was kind of fun. Finally, we have got a Zoser L and Nova 9 protection. This is a matter out of Talbot County where they were providing security to a manufacturing plant up there. We have been unable to locate them. They have sort of disappeared off the face of the earth, but I'm in the process of trying to locate him. This is the one that we sent to the Sheriff Department of Mecklenburg County, that it took 40 days to get down there. We had to get an alias employee summons. It's rather complicated. At the time it expired on us, but it was rather complicated, but we are still chasing him. Under legislation, there is nothing new pending in the legislature that has not already been reported to you. I usually just report litigation to you and do not report the OAH cases. The OAH cases are on addendum 1, but I did want to make you aware that we have had a case that originated as a case at the Office of Administrative Hearings against the QA and a company out of Charlotte that did something very strange. They agreed to the consent agreement for unregistered guards. Initially thought it was a whopping 4 unregistered guards. She agreed with the grievance committee to pay these, paid the money through per medium, but would not sign the agreement, and then petitioned for a hearing outside our process to the Office of Administrative Hearings. She didn't request the hearing through us, which she's required to. They accepted her petition and put it on another day. There were a number of motions in there because of the strange posture of that. I first tried to enforce it by saying we have offer acceptance, payment of money. The administrative law judge rejected that, so I instructed Mr. Sherwin to reimburse her, and we reimbursed her. The case went on. We just started anew with her, back to the very beginning. She did not seem to understand. She kept telling in all of her pleadings that we were threatening her. We were not threatening her. Mr. Batten, as well as Mr. Sherwin, were both explained to her that the only other choice is to suspend or revoke the license. That's what our statute says. Someone doesn't sign the consent agreement, that's the choice. That's exactly what grievance did last fall. In the November meeting, they suspended the license of the company for a short period. That's the only other choice. Administrative law judge dismissed the first action, taking the opposite position of what he did, denying my first motion. I won't even get into the bizarrity of that order, but so she sought a petition for judicial review and filed a complaint against you as a single document, which you can't do. They're two different proceedings. It is now in Mecklenburg County. There was all kinds of problems with service with that. We didn't even know it had been filed till they erroneously filed it in the Office of Administrative Hearings, and they sent us a copy. It's 22 days outside the time issue. That's a whole nother mess. And then now she's petitioned again in the Office of Administrative Hearings on the suspension of the license. And I say she, not the company. She is not, none of these have been brought in the name of the company. So she has done it. She's petitioned in on the suspension of the license, and then brought up all the issues about before about being threatened by the board, and that this was a fine and not a consent order, et cetera, et cetera. That's about the best I can do explaining it. I'm not really sure I'm accurate, but it is quite the mess. So we've got basically three pending actions with her, and the money was refunded and she never signed a consent agreement. So it is rather unusual situation. So I don't typically bring the petitions for judicial review up to you. The OAH stuff is reported in attachment 1, as it always has been for years. But I just want to make you aware of it. It's a mess. And eventually it'll get sorted out. I don't know when. She filed something as recently as Tuesday. She is pro se, and that's always tough. It's always tough. So, one final thing, I'm gonna stick this in here just for fun before you vote to either accept or reject my attorney's report. For years, I have always thought that we did not start licensing security guard or private investigators or security guard and patrol companies until this board was created in 1973. Does anybody else think anything differently? That's what I've always thought. Mr. Bullard was doing some research on something a while back and discovered something I never knew, and I've learned something new, and I thought I'd done this for so long that I should have known this. 1961. Mr. Bullard found the legislation from 1961 where we first in North Carolina started licensing private detectives, and private detectives were over security guard and patrol companies at the time. You had to be licensed as a private detective between 1961 and 1973 in order to have a security guard and patrol company. And that's the only two things that were licensed. And it was under the State Bureau of Investigation, which it was under the State Bureau of Investigation when I first became aware of the board in 1985. But you had to be a PI in order to have a security guard and patrol company. But I learned something new every day. But thanks to Mr. Bullard, 1961 and not 73 when the board was created. And the director, and it's amazing, the language is in this original bill from 61, passed in 1960. The language, much of it is the exact same language we have today in 74C. But if anybody would like a copy, I brought some copies, but it's some kind of a fun piece of trivia that I never knew. So,
Well, Paul, you should plan a party. It's our 75th anniversary.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So disappointed.
I was really researching when Jeff started working for the board.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, as old as I am, I was only 2 at the time.
Yeah.
But I never knew it. I'm stunned that I never knew it, and I thank Mr. Bullard for that. I'm not sure exactly how he found this, but he was working on something and discovered this and sent it to me. So there's your trivia for today. You can stump your friends at dinner tonight.
All right, any questions for Mr. Gray? I'll entertain a motion to accept the attorney's report.
Motion.
Got a motion, second? Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Sorry, who was that?
Who was it?
Motion and a second.
Yeah.
Motion. Second.
Huh? Controlling round, great. Thank you. There's a lot of just.
All right, good of the order. We have anybody signed up to speak?
Public comment, anybody?
Yes, sir.
Before I ask a question of the board, thanks for having me here. I'm Brian Crump. I'm a private investigator here. Been investigating here for 26 years. Sorry about my voice. I just come from Philadelphia teaching a class. I'm here today because I want to tell you who I am. I'm a private investigator. I've been licensed here for 26 years. I do mainly criminal defense work with the Indigent Defense Services now. I have currently 6 capital murder cases. I work directly with the assistant, Richard Culler. I went through Mr. Johnson's last firearms training class with Mr. Chad Thompson. I'm a general instructor. I'm a firearms instructor. I have a security clearance from the Department of Justice where I just came from teaching a 2-week class. And this will bring me to my question in a minute, but I wanted to give you an idea of what I've been through, what I've done, what I do, and the frustration with the continuing education. I screwed up. I usually wait till about the last 6 months to do my continuing education with a group of guys, and found out the instructor is no longer in business. So now I renewed next month, and now I only have 6 hours for the board. And here's kind of my main point of continuing education. I know a lot of investigators that have my experience. I'm from law enforcement, former military, went to baseball training. And I go sit down into a continuing education class where the instructor tells me to write on a piece of paper who, what, where, when, why. For note taking. With the experience that me and some of these other investigators and some other companies have. I don't think that's a slap in the face, to say the least, but it would be like requiring Mr. Johnson to keep his certification every year to require him to do a 12-hour class on basic handgun fundamentals. I don't think that fits. I just don't. I'm not here to argue with the board. I'm just giving you my opinion. I've tried to come up with a solution in my head how we can do this as the PPSB in a board. Maybe something like a sliding scale type system. You know, your first 2 or 3 renewals, you have to have 12 hours. After your 3rd or 4th renewal, maybe 6 hours, or come to a board meeting. But 26 years I've been doing this, and I still have to do 12 hours of continuing education on note taking, basically. I don't think that's fair. I can't find a place around the Charlotte area. I travel up here and spend $150 on a hotel, food, travel, and I have a top secret security clearance for the Department of Defense, but I'm made to take a 12-hour continuing education class here at the board. I respect the decision, but I think there's time that has to change on a person by person basis. I've talked to Mr. Sherman about it, and I know it's a huge headache on his office. And going back to the topic I was talking about Mr. Johnson, it would be the same as asking him with his many years experience. I've testified as an expert witness in state and federal court on firearms and police procedure. And it's just frustrating to have to come take a 12-hour class. And I'm short 6 hours. So one, I just wanted to make the point of who I was, what I've done, where I've been, what training I've been. I mean, I've got counsel to go on for another 20 minutes of what I do. I have to be out of the country with the Department of Defense next month, and I renew the month in May. I believe it's May. And I pray to the board somehow I can have an exemption for 6 hours, or I'm going to have to figure out something while I'm going out of the country. And I'd also like to ask the board if we can make some type of amendment to this continuing education. Nobody makes money on this from the board. And you sit down in the class. I mean, I sit down in one class that was how to install a GPS on a car. You know, note taking. These are things that all of these private investigators, if they don't know how to take notes, they don't need to be here. If they don't know how to install a GPS on a car, then that's not what they need to be doing. I think it's up to me as a business owner to make sure my investigators know what they're doing before I even hire them. And if they don't know how to take notes, where did they come from? We already have to be here 4,000 hours just to get a license. I mean, we heard the committee, some people don't get any hours for training at all. So they have to rely on me or other private investigators to get that training. And by the time you have 4,000 hours, I mean, you can count. Some agencies don't have that much work, so it takes 3, 4, 5 years to get those types of hours. So if you don't know how to take a note or install a GPS on a car or know the law of 74C, you don't need to be in this building. So I'll ask the board what we need to do. I'll be more than welcome to volunteer my time on how do we do this, some type of sliding scale with experience versus just throwing a blanket 12-hour class out there and basically underwater basket weaving. I mean, some of the things that I've seen the classes for have nothing to do with what we do. Nothing. And that's all I have. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for listening. I will ask the board, and I don't want it to make this a precedent. I don't want everybody else to hear this, but I don't know how I'm gonna get my other 6 hours of training. And I don't know if this is even possible to, an exemption for 6 hours. I'll make it up some other way, some other how when I get back, but I need to renew my license. I've been doing this 26 years with no complaints, no issue at all. I don't know what else to do, except, please.
Thank you, sir. Anything you have that you would like to submit, please submit that in terms of your sliding scale, your ideas or anything like that. You submit those to Mr. Sherwin and he will get it to the proper committee, which would be training and education, I assume. As far as an exemption, we don't have the authority to do that. The requirements for continuing education are in the rules or the statute. I can't remember which. I know they're in the rules. Okay. That would require a rule change. That would take probably a year to do. So that's why I'm saying if you've got suggestions that the committee might approve, we can certainly look at that. It's not going to help you right now with the 6 hours, but our hands are tied on that. So
There's a lot of online opportunity to take courses.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there's a ton of courses and that's up to you as industry, license holders to decide what type of training is most important to you, that you feel like would benefit you the best, and to find that training. But there's a ton of courses that are online and I'm sure we have a list of all of those. Is that on our website? Yeah, so there's a list of all the different types of everything that you want to take is on there. And I can tell you that some of those courses that are online are much cheaper than coming down here and spending $150 for a night here. So there is a ton of courses that are approved, and it's up to you as an industry member to find which courses that you feel like best benefit you.
And it doesn't have to be an investigator course. You could take anything on there if you feel like, I mean, that's entirely up to you, whether you want something that applies to you or not. But if you're just trying to get the hours in that.
With the
That
training
may-
that's offered this afternoon, would that help them?
Pardon me?
The training that's offered this afternoon,
Yes.
how many total hours would that be?
You get 2 hours for being here in the board meeting and 4 hours for the training we're going to do afterward.
Have you
There's your
already,
6 hours right there.
Well,
have you
I
already exhausted?
was counting that 6 hours.
Well,
And I was begging and pleading for the other 6 hours.
Thank you for your honesty.
So, thank you very much for listening to me. I'll get with Mr. Sherman.
just do the rest online.
Ma'am,
Do the rest online. Yeah, 6 online. You knock it out
Easy.
by the weekend.
thank you. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just kind of have to comment. Jeff and I are both old folks in the profession of practicing law. I've been doing it for 50 years. And we still have to take roughly 12 hours a year.
I just finished doing mine last night because I got
mean-
fined $150 for being late.
But it needs a law, correct?
Do what?
It's the practice law, but I'm just saying, I've been doing this
All
stuff for
kinds of
50
things.
years.
I have
Hard
to
to find
have-
stuff I don't already know.
I have to do 24
If
hours.
you go online and look at that spreadsheet,
Not
most of those
out of
courses are
realm of
geared,
reasonable.
most of those courses are geared toward PI.
Yeah.
Y'all dominate I'm trying to get more security guard and patrol courses. So if you actually go look, there are a plethora of things for you, AI.
And in all fairness to you guys, I've never been in this situation, so I never had to go online. I never had to do that. So I wasn't aware of a lot of things. Just, a couple of days.
You can, in the time you've got left, you can get it done.
Thank you very much for listening.
Yes, sir. Any other comment? Industry updates?
Just
Yes,
to
sir.
let everyone know, the NCPI is holding our annual conference next month, so if they're going to attend, it's currently the hotel block in tomorrow. We're trying to get a 2-week extension. We'll be holding it on the 21st and 22nd, Carolina Beach at the Courtyard Dining area. And there will be 12 hours of continuing education for that as well. So anyone
There you
who's
go.
going to need that, if they can attend, they'll be able to get their hours.
Get 12 hours of training and go to the beach too.
There you go.
All right, Promedium contract.
Yes, sir. I have 4 Promedium officials who are online here. You'll be able to hear them in a moment. But on Friday, I sent you a document Promedium had asked me to relay to you, which they're gonna cover here, kind of explaining the proposed fee increase. As some background, well, they're gonna cover it here, but the board's contract with Promedium expires July 1 of this year. They are requesting, and I would like to renew the contract for another 3 years, but as part of that, they are asking for a fee increase. That fee is passed along to the industry members with each application. There is currently a $5 fee that is charged per transaction. Promedium would like to see that fee increase. So we'd like to see that fee increase, and that's what they're here to discuss with you. So Promedium folks, if you want to go ahead, you can lead the way.
Perfect. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Great. Well, good morning. Well, it's still morning. My name is Seth Mocha. I lead our customer success team here at Promedium. And thanks for building us into your agenda today. We have the pleasure of connecting with the Alarm Services Licensing Group board back on Tuesday. And we reviewed the presentation that we're sharing today with you all with them. And they approved the proposal that we shared with them. So looking forward to keeping our time brief, but wanted to quickly go through the agenda of our presentation today. I believe you all have this in front of you. So on page 2, we want to do a quick round of introductions of our leadership team, so you know who we all are. Share briefly kind of history of our partnership together. We're now, I think, in the 10th year of working together. Paul has been a wonderful leader that we've had the opportunity to work with, had the opportunity to attend ISR a couple of years ago in Charlotte, and looking forward to attending that this year as well. Want to review our proposed agreement updated terms. As Paul mentioned, we're looking to do marginal incremental price increase across 3 years, and then talk a little bit about some of the recent upgrades that we have implemented within Promedium, and then some plans of what we're focusing on later this year. So with that said, as I mentioned, my name's Seth Mocha. I lead our customer success team. I'm located up here in Virginia, and I will turn it over to our CEO, Marshall Simmons. I think you're on mute, Marshall.
So I am. Thanks so much, y'all, for having us. Very much appreciated, and doubly appreciated on giving us the time. As Seth mentioned, my name is Marshall Simmons. I'm our CEO here at Promedium, and very much looking forward to walking through the proposal with y'all today. I'll pass it to John.
Yes, hello. John Gillies here, Senior Vice President of Product and Engineering, so I can answer any technical questions or infrastructure questions related. And pass it to Misty.
Hi, everybody. Misty Reinhardt. I lead the product team here at Promedium.
So if we move to the next page here, you can see that we've actually been working with you all since 2016 when we were building out your site, went live on the PPSB side of things in February 2017. So yeah, some pretty exciting milestone in terms of working 10 years together. Over that time, we've processed over 236,000 applications in Permidium for the private protective services side of things, and 35,000 of those were last year. Across the past year, our team has spent a lot of time and energy making some updates to Permidium. Not of all of those Paul and his team experience or the applicants' experience, as a lot of those are more behind the scenes. We did 26 different enhancement updates by our engineering team. Our support team, who works 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, regularly works with Paul and his team. They processed 108 tickets across the year. And that ranges from things like configuration updates, adjusting text on the site, making other updates, investigating any issues or troubleshooting any issues that arise. So that averages out to about 5 hours a week of support that the team, or sorry, 5 hours a month of the team is focusing on working with the NCDPS team. And then going to the next page, you can see here our proposed increases in prices that is paid for each application across the next 3 years. We originally went out with increase of from $5 to $7, and that is due to a lot of increases on our end. So you can see here some of the associated costs that we experience in the past couple of years. We've had about a 20% increase in our Amazon Web Services fees, and we use Amazon Web Services for storing your information securely in our servers. We've had incremental merchant transaction fee increases, as well as a lot of effort on our end for our engineers and developers to build out some of these new enhancements and make upgrades to your site related to security, infrastructure, et cetera. So what you see on the page here is what was counter-proposed by the Alarm Services licensing board, and they asked if we could reduce the 5 to 7 to going from 5 to 550 this year, and then going up to 650 in 2027 through 2029, which we agreed to, and they approved during their meeting on Tuesday. If you go to the next page, we're happy to answer any of your questions, or a couple just other slides, then we'll kind of open it up to you. The next page looks at some of the main updates that we made that the processors and the applicants are able to see the tangible results of. The first is adding that new limited monitoring alarm licensing application into the system, as well as updating the proprietary security organization application, which we moved around and made some updates to that application. And some of those things are a little more complicated than you may expect, anytime you're dealing with technology, especially one that we've been working on with you all for the last 10 years, a lot of kind of engineering and development time go into making those updates. And then the last page here is some things that we're planning on for this year. So one of the things that we'd heard from Paul was that there's some interest in adding the continuing education application form for the instructors to be on Permidium. And we're actually building out kind of a new technology that we're planning on adding those to once that's available later this year, as well as a number of requested enhancement related items to help workflow for the processors that you can see bulleted at the bottom of that priority enhancements page. So that's what we wanted to share with you all today. Sounds like this group needs to kind of approve that change. We're happy to see if you had any questions for us. And with that, I'll turn it over to you all.
So right now, the request is for basically a 10% increase this year, an 18% increase for 27 through 29. Do they have, or do you have transactions based on the boards, the two boards?
Like totals?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you give me the alarm board transactions?
Yeah, so that's actually, I believe, what you're requesting is on page 3. Where you can see that in the last year we did over 5,000 applications with the alarm board, and then 35,000 applications with the private protective services board.
We should be at a better negotiating point then, 7 times the volume. 2 years it could be. All right, I'll open it up for discussion for the board. Got the information on the alarm board, the
They have agreed to a different contract, which is $550 for the first year, $650 for 27 through 29. The board can discuss it. If there's a counter proposal you want to make, we'll give that information to Paul and he can forward it on to them.
I would propose we do exactly what the alarm board's doing.
Okay, is that a motion?
I'll make that a motion.
Is this a 3-year contract?
Yes.
Is any specifics about how many, if we cut the, say if the amount go down, does it make a difference?
Yeah. I've got a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
I got a second. That'll open us up for discussion. Any discussion? Paul, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I support the renewal.
Okay. All right, if any no discussion, call for a vote. All those in favor of
I do have a
the,
question. Well, just like a feature though, is it possible, you know how they send us the alerts for the expiration dates for the licensees and the trainers? Can they do that for guards?
Permitting staff, did you hear that question? I'm sure it can be done. The question is always what's involved and how long would it take and
I'll be the contract.
et cetera. The question was the renewal, the automatic license expiration emails that go out. Can the same feature be built for guard registrations?
Yes, so that's probably a question for Misty and John, who oversee our engineering and product teams.
Yeah, so I think the feature can be built. We'd need to dig a little deeper into the specifics of how we need that to go, what kind of information we need to be able to collect against before we could commit 100% to that. But it is a different data set, so we'd have to do a different type of query and retrieval of that data.
It'd be, I think it'd be good. Okay.
Paul, did you send us a copy of the contract?
No, I don't have the actual contract yet, so I figured we needed to agree on the.
Okay,
structure?
then we'll get the contract. So if they agree to it and.
Yes.
Right, okay, okay. So this is basically saying what we're willing to do.
Correct.
And then they will come back and say yes or no, and if yes, then they will give us a contract.
Yes, I will have the actual contract itself ready for you in May.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to be clear for the board, we are very happy with this arrangement. So there's not going to be, a ping pong match here. We're very, thrilled with where we've landed with the Alarm Services Board. So we would like to make, quick work of it.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. All right, that concludes this meeting. Training starts at 1:00, is that correct? All right, so everybody can grab some lunch or whatever. Motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
Leave.
Okay.